Okay, so it seems that there's been a little bit of an update on the whole VShojo merge situation. Now, if you don't know, previously we looked at a tweet from Geega and a couple of other people essentially saying that VShojo is currently blocking them from fulfilling merch items. Now, if you don't know, VShojo have been refusing to fulfill merch items. They have been obviously not kind of giving out the merch that a lot of people are paid for, and obviously that could be a big issue legally and things due to the fact that, you know, a lot of fans are paid for this merch and it is not going to be sent out at all by VShojo themselves. And obviously this has then spurred on a lot of the kind of ex-talent of VShojo to then try to, you know, take hold of this situation and essentially just kind of, you know, fulfill the merch for their fans, because they want their fans to receive it, and so they would do anything, including obviously paying for it, or at least just working with the warehouses to just get it out. And you know, obviously after that, then they can go and work with other companies and things. But it seems like VShojo are actively blocking them to actually receive their merch, with a new update from Michi talking about her merch this time, and obviously what she plans doing forwards with this kind of stuff. And obviously she says, I'm sorry, but unfortunately VShojo has locked me out of all of my options and will not allow me to fulfill any of your unfulfilled merch orders. So again, obviously specifically we got to go into that, you know, one little line of text there saying VShojo has locked me out of my options. You know, it's horrible. You know, it's not the case of, oh hey, I can't afford it, or like, hey, the warehouse lost the merch or whatever. The merch is there, it's very easy to get, right? It's just VShojo is literally locking them out so that they're unable to fulfill it, which obviously is absolutely terrible. And they're saying we were communicating with them actively about all your unfulfilled merch and ways to obtain them to make this right for weeks. And even though we offered multiple ways we could sort this out properly, through so many talks and negotiations, including an option where I'd pay for everything myself, and it low-key felt like there was hope here. They then finally denied it, all due to the reason they didn't say. I basically cannot access any of my merch, including all the merch I personally spent months producing, making, shipping, and paid for 100% by myself. Which, yeah, is crazy, because obviously, you know, on the VShojo side of things, some merch obviously is done by VShojo and things like that, and, you know, as much as it sucks, you know, VShojo do have the rights to that merch, right? But whenever it comes to Michi here, she's saying that she paid for it 100% herself, paid for the shipping, the making, the producing of the merch, and spent months on it, and they're still not allowing her to, you know, kind of have it. They're still not allowing her to access it, which is terrible, because again, obviously, you know, she's fully paid for this, and she's fully kind of, you know, been behind the production process of this, and she's not being allowed to have any kind of say in what goes on with her own merch, which is crazy. And obviously as well, they said that, you know, obviously they got denied it all due to the reasons they didn't say. So obviously they just went, nope, you can't have it, and we're not saying why you can't have it, you know. So again, I feel like this is just VShojo being pretty stubborn. Now obviously another reason a lot of people have brought up whenever it comes to this post is that potentially, obviously, maybe there was kind of like a reason to do with like bankruptcy. Potentially they could sell off a ton of the merch and stuff to make the money back from, you know, bankruptcy, which again could be the case. But even then, I don't know, you know, I don't know how they would even sell it, because it is merch at the end of the day. It's nothing like, you know, it's valuable, but not like super valuable. You get what I mean? They said this whole situation has been a nightmare. We fought really hard and held out hope for this, just to be shut down at every turn for reasons I don't understand. I seriously apologize for everything that's been going on and for the lack of proper explanation too. I wish I could tell you guys I understand why it had to be this way, but I honestly don't. However, on a good note, I'm looking into a form of compensation for the future for those who have ordered my merch and were affected by this, as an apology from my end. So hopefully this will restore our whimsy a little bit. Let me cook. So thank you for all those that have sent your merch inquiries, trusted us and helped us throughout this process. I'm so sorry that I couldn't do more to help. Again, I'm so sorry for bringing bad news like this. I really, really hope things could have been different. So yeah. Again, it sucks. And obviously, it's great, though, to see that Michi is working on a potential way to kind of allow people to get merch, you know, through a different kind of way. And obviously having a bit of a kind of compensation in the form of new merch whenever that does drop. But obviously, it does suck that the people can't get their merch in the first place. And as I said, throughout all of these kinds of videos, if you haven't gone to your bank and charged back the money yet, you need to do that, because again, time is running out. There's only a limited amount of time you can do that, and obviously there's going to be a point where you can't charge that back anymore, and yeah, that's not going to be good for you. So I definitely recommend doing it. I think it's safe to say your merch is not coming back, so obviously charge it back before, because again, you can't get a refund through any other methods apart from obviously just going through your bank. So definitely look out for that, because again, a lot of people, including a lot of the talent, are also pointing this out and telling you to do this. And this is also being discussed in a lot of communities as well, and they're saying obviously VShojo has blocked Michi from fulfilling any unfulfilled merch, even rejecting her offer of paying for everything herself. People saying this has been discussed here before. Given they're currently in the midst of bankruptcy proceedings, no one is allowed to buy or sell company assets until the court-appointed bankruptcy trustee is able to oversee the liquidation of assets and the payment of secured creditors. This process takes months, if not years, but probably months for VShojo, because it wasn't very large compared to other bankruptcy filings. Then obviously, according to Geega, in this post here, no bankruptcy has been filed yet, according to her. And obviously this is a post. Yeah, obviously she says here, just noting, since I'm seeing some related comments, as far as I and my lawyer are aware, the bankruptcy has not been filed yet. The company still exists as it is, and I still have a normal agreement with them as mentioned above. And that was in response to the VShojo merch news, because obviously a lot of people were saying maybe they're not allowing you to buy it because you can't buy and sell while they're going through kind of bankruptcy proceedings. But obviously Geega says as far as she knows, they're not doing that. So again, that kind of clears some things up. Obviously, we're saying the thing about bankruptcy law, even if you haven't formally filed for bankruptcy yet, if you're a company executive and have good reason to believe your company is or soon will be financially insolvent, and filing for bankruptcy, you are legally obligated to treat the company as though it's already in the bankruptcy process. This is to prevent executives from taking a company that's circling the drain, selling off, giving away anything of value to whoever they want, paying themselves as a bonus with any money left in the corporate bank account, then declaring bankruptcy and saying the company has no money or assets and therefore cannot pay the creditors that should be paid with the money / assets the executive just mishandled. Gunrun, or whoever is calling the shots these days, is probably under legal advice not to buy, sell, or ship anything that VShojo might have some claim of ownership on. Which obviously, yeah, it's pretty interesting. You know, they're saying, but even if it hasn't been formally filed, they're still in a look-back window, and any bankruptcy attorney worth their fee is going to tell them to freeze everything anyways. So just saw Michi and Micah's tweet about it. Feels so bad. The more I think about it, I got very lucky with my merch from Henya and Matara. I can't imagine how much of a nightmare this is for all of the talent and the buyers. I can only hope that the chargebacks people are also able to do can truly hurt VShojo in some way. I don't know, but hope the chargebacks will work. I read some stories when they fail, so I just want to hope it's a strategy that will work. Again, chargebacks do work most of the time, right? The only time a chargeback won't work is if they give you, if they literally give you the item, right? If the item turns up at your door, they will take your money back from your bank account once again, right? And obviously that is the only time that a chargeback doesn't work. I've done this before. I've charged back a couple of things that I unfortunately got scammed on. Well, not scammed on, but like, yeah, something just didn't show up. So I managed to get a chargeback on that, and the item never showed up, so I just got my money back, right? But I also did it at one point where the shipping took way too long, and the items were terrible. Like, they were not good quality at all, but they didn't show up, okay? They didn't show up, and then I filed for chargeback, right? Got my chargeback, got the money, and then obviously the item showed up a couple of weeks later. Really terrible quality, would have never, I think it was closed, so I would have never worn it or anything like that, but it was still turned up on my door. So then they took the money back and sent me a letter being like, you charged back, but they actually sent you stuff. So again, obviously that then becomes just a kind of thing. So again, don't be worried about doing it. It's fine. They will just take the money back and maybe send you a letter with the evidence that the company has given that they sent it to you. That's about it, really. It's really not that big of a deal. So again, just do chargeback, just do a chargeback, just get the money back, and then you should be all good. People saying, is VShojo just dead set on being the biggest bunch of assholes there is? It says VShojo can't move any assets. A lot of people are very defensive of VShojo here and saying they can't move any assets and things, but I mean, surely they could work out some way. I don't know. Again, Maybe they are really in this sticky situation that people are telling them, but even then, I think they probably could have solved something before they announced this. You know, I know a lot of people say VShojo can't move assets and things like that, but surely, you know, before even thinking about bankruptcy, they could have came up with some kind of solution to this so that they could get this out, but they decided not to, which I think is definitely interesting as well. People saying, screw you, Gunrun, just screw you, that this is normal, they declared bankruptcy. Again, a lot of people defending it. VShojo can't legally move assets. They said, to be fair, no doubt some of them don't even know how bankruptcy works. True, but their lawyers do. So there was a post about this already. It's not VShojo that's blocking access. So again, a lot of people seem to kind of be defending VShojo here, saying that, like, hey, it's not VShojo that are blocking access. It's the fact that, they're bankrupt. But honestly, I do think it's still weird that, for example, Michi says here that they denied it and didn't say why. They didn't say why the reason was. Surely they could have went, okay, sorry, we can't give this to you because we're currently going through bankruptcy proceedings and therefore we cannot buy and sell things, right? Surely they could have just said this to the talent, because else they wouldn't be coming out with posts like this saying they're blocking me from this kind of stuff. They haven't told me why, everything like that, right? Surely they would be like, hey, just to explain why, we're not being assholes here. We literally just cannot buy and sell. But again, they chose not to do that, which I think is also very interesting. Hey, maybe there's another law or something out there which says that you can't talk about it or whatever, but I don't think there is. I haven't heard of anything like that. So again, I don't know, but I think it's a very interesting situation. Obviously, that is a update on the merch orders. So again, as I said, if you did try to buy any of this merch, then try and charge it back, because again, you are not going to be getting it back. But yeah, it's very interesting. As they say, obviously VShojo has locked them out of all their options. A lot of people are saying that, they're unable to do anything because of the bankruptcy stuff. But hey, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. Again, I'm very interested in what you guys have to say and what you guys think. Whether you think it's a blocking thing or whether you think it is just a bankruptcy thing. I'm very interested in what you guys have to say about that. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kaz to get 10% off again. They've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.